how much you put into the game, how much work ethic are you gonna put into it every single day, day in and day out. I've never cheated the process on wanting to be great in this game. I knew I had a God-given ability, but that only takes you so far if you don't use that ability and start putting in work every single day.
LeBron James has publicly stated time and time again, with complete conviction, that he has always respected the game and never taken shortcuts. Those are his own words. So when a well-known NBA analyst revisits the footage, highlights the scoreboard, and challenges him to clarify what was really happening during that fourth quarter, the lack of any response from LeBron's camp becomes impossible to ignore. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. At this stage of his career, do you believe LeBron is still fully focused on competing at the highest level, or is he mainly chasing milestones and records until there are none left to break? Give your honest opinion.
At what point are you going to start showing his age?
Like 4 years ago.
Can you show the video of LeBron again?
Yeah, don't that look like that meme they put the cigarette in his mouth?
That's Miami Bron. He got the thin neck.
Some would call the Ozempic neck.
At some point, you going to start the season and then not play for 20 games and come back. You better not come out there dunking it. I don't want to see no dunks.
So when people say, is he declining? We was in a league where when he jumped, his chin was over the rim.
Yeah, he declined.
Over the rim. Now, you see this. It looked good for them because they don't remember the guy who was sitting here looking at the rim. Now we see him on the fast break. We can see, yeah, he's slow, right? He used to be 110 speed out of 100. Now he probably, 91, 92? That was that LeBron. This LeBron, he does look old.
Most people tend to discuss the topic carefully, respectfully, and with a strong awareness of the legacy involved, avoiding the uncomfortable questions sitting in plain sight. But Ric Bucher wasn't interested in taking that approach. During an appearance on Fox Sports On the Ball, he spoke candidly, arguing that LeBron James has remained in games to chase statistical milestones so frequently that the pattern no longer feels surprising. It feels expected.
LeBron James has stayed in games to achieve some sort of statistical mark so routinely now that we're almost numb to it. The latest being the oldest player to ever achieve a triple-double. Can't remember who they were playing. I just know that the game was out of hand. There was no reason for him to be on the floor. I believe Austin Reeves ended up grabbing 2 rebounds that LeBron wanted so that he could complete the triple-double and get off the floor.
Not unexpected. Not remarkable. Just routine. And that particular word carries weight. When something becomes routine, it suggests far more than a single questionable decision or an isolated incident that can be justified with the right explanation. It suggests a recurring pattern. It implies that anyone paying close attention has likely witnessed it before and immediately recognized it when it surfaced once again. To support his argument, Bucher pointed to a specific game on February 13, 2026. That night, LeBron James, 41 years and 44 days old, took the court against the Dallas Mavericks. By the final buzzer, he had posted 28 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. The story practically wrote itself. The oldest player in NBA history to record a triple-double.
We are set for action here on Prime. LaRavia to James, 3-on-1 developing. Board. 5-on-4, Williams slow to get up. James is going to hoist. And hit a three! He can do a whole lot with that in terms of creativity. Corner, Hachimura, booking.
How good can your zone be at adapting to what each other team's trying to do to you?
Shake and bake. James flings it up. It's good. A foul. He turns it over. James, the locomotive to the rim.
Unfortunately tonight.
In transition, LeBron James fighting for waves of defenders, and he gets the roll. Hayes clears it. LeBron,
oh my. The same team.
Yes,
It's true. I don't want to create any divides between studio and booth.
The cameras immediately turned toward him. The crowd inside the arena recognized the moment. Social media erupted in celebration. Another milestone achieved, another historic accomplishment secured, and yet another record added to a resume that only LeBron James can claim. But Ric Bucher looked at the same sequence and came away with a very different conclusion. According to Bucher, the outcome of the game had already been decided by the time it happened. In his view, there was no real competitive necessity for LeBron to remain on the court at that stage. He also pointed to a moment involving teammate Austin Reaves. Bucher argued that Reaves, a player with nothing personally to gain from giving LeBron extra rebounds, appeared to let a couple of opportunities go by. Rebounds that LeBron was pursuing in order to complete the triple-double before eventually checking out of the game.
The guy staying around at age 41 just to get an extra rebound, just to say in the history books, when everybody forgets how it was done, that he was the oldest guy to get a triple-double, that is stat chasing. That is undermining the statistical achievement. And with LeBron, he loves to say that he's never cheated the game. And it seems like not only with LeBron, but a lot of people these days, every declaration is actually a confession.
Think about that for a moment. A 41-year-old player, with the result already decided, appeared to be battling his own teammate for rebounds. Not to improve the team's chances of winning. Not because the game was still hanging in the balance. But because one more rebound would complete a milestone, secure a place in the record books, and allow him to check out afterward. This is the same player who has repeatedly insisted that he has never cheated the game. Bucher delivered perhaps his most cutting observation when addressing that claim. He suggested that sometimes repeated denials begin to sound more like admissions than defenses. That remark deserved far more attention than it received. Because the point he was making is simple: the more often someone insists they're not doing something, the more closely their actions deserve to be examined. For years, LeBron James has told fans that he has never cheated the game, yet every instance where he remains on the court during a decided contest to secure a personal milestone makes that statement increasingly difficult for critics to accept. And the circumstances surrounding this particular situation make the discussion even more complicated. The Lakers sit at 41-25. They lead the Pacific Division. They are riding a 4-game winning streak. Most importantly, they're viewed as a serious playoff threat in the Western Conference. If LeBron truly remains motivated by the pursuit of one more championship, as he has often stated, that opportunity exists right now. Not as a future possibility. Not as something that might happen next season. It is a real and immediate playoff run that deserves complete attention. Yet what became the dominant storyline afterward? Not postseason preparation. Not veteran leadership on a team preparing for the most important stretch of the season. Instead, the focus shifted to an oldest player ever to record a triple-double achievement in a lopsided game against Dallas. That wasn't simply chance. Critics would argue it was a choice. If winning a 5th championship were the only objective, as supporters such as Rich Paul and JJ Redick often suggest, this Mavericks game would have been little more than a minor footnote. A player approaching 41 years old with a playoff campaign just weeks away typically doesn't stay on the floor in a decided game chasing one final rebound. He sits down. He preserves his energy. He allows teammates like Austin Reaves to finish the night and focuses on the games that truly matter. Unless the milestone itself holds significant value. Unless reaching another historic mark is part of the objective. Unless managing a legacy that has been carefully constructed over many years remains a major priority alongside the pursuit of championships. That brings us to Austin Reaves and the larger picture unfolding on this Lakers roster. Reaves is averaging 23.9 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists this season. He is playing arguably the best basketball of his career. Despite entering the league undrafted and facing skepticism throughout his journey, he has developed into one of the most valuable players on a first-place team. With a major contract looming, he appears to be earning every dollar that could come his way. Then there is Luka Doncic. He is posting 32.9 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 8.5 assists per game. Many observers view this as Luka's team now. The coaching staff understands it. The front office understands it. The fan base understands it. Luka has become the engine that drives the team's success and a major reason for its position in the standings. So, where exactly does LeBron fit within that structure? Statistically, he is averaging 21.4 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 7.0 assists at age 41. Those numbers remain productive and respectable. But they also resemble the contributions of an important supporting veteran rather than the centerpiece of the franchise. Critics would argue that the Lakers' 41-25 record is driven primarily by Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. LeBron's role has increasingly shifted toward that of an experienced veteran contributing to a team that is no longer built entirely around him. From that perspective, the criticism surrounding stat chasing becomes even harder to dismiss. When a player is unquestionably the team's best performer, supporters can at least argue there is value in remaining on the court a little longer. Perhaps it keeps the starters engaged or reinforces leadership standards. But when a player is no longer the central figure and remains in a blowout pursuing one final statistic before exiting, critics contend that the competitive justification largely disappears. The broader conversation also extends to the records themselves. The milestones continue to accumulate at an extraordinary rate, yet some observers believe the situations surrounding them deserve closer examination than they often receive. LeBron now owns the all-time regular season scoring record with 43,127 points. He also sits atop the combined regular season and playoff scoring list, further strengthening one of the most remarkable statistical resumes the sport has ever seen. LeBron James continues adding records to a resume that already includes the all-time scoring mark, the combined regular season and playoff scoring record, and more than 150 career triple-doubles. Many of those achievements are unquestionably the result of elite talent and remarkable longevity. But critics argue that longevity is also a choice, and when a player is aware of the milestones within reach, it becomes fair to ask whether record chasing has become part of the motivation. The discussion becomes even more complicated when viewed alongside the Bronny James situation. Bronny's selection by the Lakers sparked immediate accusations of nepotism, with many believing the move was tied to keeping LeBron in Los Angeles. Reports of tension with the front office only added fuel to the debate, forcing public efforts from Rich Paul and others to smooth things over. For critics, these events are not isolated incidents, but part of a larger pattern. LeBron carefully shaping the circumstances around his career, while presenting every decision as being solely about winning and competition. The Bronny draft, the pursuit of milestones, and the constant defense of his legacy all point to a player who remains heavily invested in controlling how his career will be remembered. There is nothing inherently wrong with that. Athletes have every right to pursue personal goals. The controversy comes from the insistence that none of those goals are personal and that everything is only about championships and team success. JJ Redick has described LeBron's role as selfless, emphasizing his efforts to help Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves thrive. But critics counter that selfless players typically do not stay in decided games chasing one final rebound for a historic triple-double or use their influence to shape major organizational decisions. That is why Ric Bucher comments gained attention. His argument is simple: the pattern matters. LeBron is 41 years old, playing on a team now centered around Luka Doncic, yet questions continue to arise whenever another personal milestone becomes the headline. No matter where fans stand on the issue, the debate is no longer going away. LeBron has built one of the greatest careers in sports history, but even legendary careers remain open to scrutiny and discussion. What do you think? Is the focus on legacy beginning to overshadow the competition? Or are critics reading too much into the situation? Let us know in the comments below.